All right, so we're just going to talk about some defenses here for the saddle, and specifically the idea of the heel slip. Okay, so different layers of defense here. Now, we just played kind of a game from the saddle where we're doing first control and then going into submissions. One thing I'm going to recommend with you when you're doing leg entanglements with your partner, don't be in a rush to exit the position. If you do that, you're going to be avoiding leg entanglements and you're going to have the mindset of not wanting to be there. Okay. I would prefer if everyone in this room could be comfortable just sitting in the pocket and entangling. And even if you're caught in the saddle with double trouble and you're in the worst position, that you have the mindset that you know where you are, you know how to pummel and keep your heel safe, and you know how to counter and reattack rather than just fleeing. Okay. So everyone in this room, with enough time, there's no reason why you can't become like a competent leg locker. But it only happens if you sit in the pocket. When we're in ashigarami, if I expose my partner's knee line and I start to pull him into an ashigarami, at some point, to some degree, I will be exposed. Especially if I go into like an outside ashi, there's always going to be things that he could do to me to counter me. Okay, so as I capture his knee line, my knee line also gets exposed. So it's something to think about. Try not to avoid being here and try not panicking here. Even if you get leg locked, it doesn't even matter. Okay, just tap out, go again. Ask yourself, why did it happen? Okay, your mindset should be comfortable here, willing to sit and exchange rather than just like being kind of afraid to entangle your partner's legs. Sometimes you got to give something to get something, especially with legs. Okay, so let's say he's got me in the saddle. Right. First thing, he's captured my knee line. He has an ashigarami. I need to think, how am I going to have my foot in a defensive position that's going to prevent the heel hook? Okay, so I point my toes down and I back heel and I try and tuck my foot close to his hip as much as possible. Okay, if I put the boot on right now, I literally give him the heel hook. So I cannot do that. Okay, I have to, let's just turn this way, better angle. I have to think about hiding my foot here. Another thing I'm doing is I'm not just turning my foot, because right now just heel hook me. Like there's tons of heel exposure, right? But if I get onto my hip and turn my knee down to the floor, now I'm in a much better defensive position. Okay. Now he's always going to look for a situation where his knees face sideways through my knee. When he can create this angle, that's when he's going to get the heel exposure. So I have turned my hips down and trying to point my knee down as much as I can and go here. All right. So this is first things first, defensive posturing for my right foot to prevent the inside heel hook. Now let's say he starts to get the heel hook, okay? Once he gets a dig, things get very, very dangerous, obviously. So the first thing I like to do from here is I like to grab this arm. If I can, just let that knee down for a sec. I like to grab inside this knee. Okay, that will always be my choice, because if he can push that knee down and pinch his knees together and drive his hips down, that's when I get tapped out. If I can put a brace in front of that knee, I'm not going to say he can't break me, but it's just going to make it harder for him to do. So as he goes to finish, I grab onto his arm. So now what I'm going to look to do is I'm going to try, right now my heel is kind of on top of his wrist. I'm going to try to pull him towards me while at the same time kicking my right leg into his bicep. So I'm actually kicking my leg deeper as I pull him. I'm also going to try my best to get my heel to kind of hop inside of his wrist here. So it's not sticking out. I'm going to try as best as I can to sort of pull it inside. So he goes to heel hook me, I lock up, and now from here I'm going to extend. So now you see how my heel has slipped from his wrist to the sole of my foot, kicking his bicep. So he tries to finish me here. It's hard because he can't create the extension he needs. And also I'm sort of limiting his locked hands and also his leg chopping down into the side of my knee. So now from here, as I kick, it's now time to point my toes down as much as I can. You see how I'm just wrapping my toes, and then I pull my foot back. All right, now I'm back into square one, where it's safe for me to now turn this way. Okay, it's not safe for me to turn that way. Get a dig. It's not safe for me to turn that way when he's got a dig, because I'm heel hooking myself, right? And it's also very unsafe to spin this way, because we just go to a backside saddle and he finishes me. Okay, so we never go that way, right? So again, as he goes for his dig, I try and get in front and grab his arm. This is very late stage, right? I'm pulling, I'm going to kick on the bicep, And then as I extend my foot down, watch what happens. So keep a nice dick. Watch what happens as I extend. I'm wrapping my toes. Then as I kick, I pull. Now from here, I'm going to put my hand on the floor and I'm going to start my corner escape where I'm just scooting around the corner. Wherever I can get this foot back inside, I will. Okay, sometimes if this leg is sort of here, I'll be able to pummel inside and that's good enough. I stretch them out. Now my leg's basically completely safe and I can re-entangle. Other times, I might not be able to put that foot, stomp. I can't put that foot inside, okay? So in these cases, what I like to do is I like to heist up and put my foot in behind. So the only way I'm gonna be able to do that is if I get my ass off the floor. Let's just turn. Right? Like I'd have to be incredibly flexible to go inside here. So what I do is I get my hips off the floor and I insert my foot here. And then I always look to stretch. Okay, I'm not a big fan of going here and then trying to sprint and he's got strong wedges and then he can continue his attacks. But rather open up the legs. So now when he tries to attack my foot, even if he gets a dig, he doesn't have my knee line. Right? So he's got to get my knee line, he's got to create heel exposure, and he's got to get a dig. Those are kind of my 3 phases of my defense, right? And it's important that I know where I am at all times. So again, we're here, I frame, and I catch. Now I'm going to put my foot as much as I can. I want to take my foot out of a 90-degree bend and start wrapping my foot in. I kick my foot deeper, and then I pull. Right? Now from here, I got to clear my knee line, so I'm going to always hide my heel. I'm turning. It's also not safe to just stand. Okay, if I stand, he can invert underneath me. So I keep my hips just off the floor enough to pummel and open up the legs. Now I'm completely safe, basically, but I'm still in an ashi, but I can clear my knee, and then I can choose what I want to do from here. Do I want to just get out, or do I want to start doing my own leg entanglements? Okay, questions on this? Okay, cool. So with your partner, I want your partner to just like put you in a heel hook, basically, and hold it. And you're just kind of feeling around, seeing where you can slip your heel. Make sure you can do the heel slip. Then what I want you to do is just sit in the saddle and your partner is going to try and get that dig. So I'm just going to like make it annoying for him. So what I did there, as he's trying to roll, I just keep his knee open, right? If I let his knees turn, that's when he can roll through. So I just put a wedge here. He tries to roll. I can sort of slow it down. He's going to try and catch a dig. I'm trying to hide it. I kick my foot. I'm trying to hide it, make it annoying for him. So I'm just sort of troubleshooting the position in a very controlled way, not letting him get his dig. If he gets his dig, I go in, strip, okay, and then we can do our corner escape. Questions on this? Okay, let's go back and forth with our partner and just work on that heel slip. Ready? 1, 2.